guys, tonight I fly out of Dubai International Airport with Gulf Air in their regional business class. It was a flight that I took a little bit earlier in the year, just before I started this project, and it was really very good indeed. Very modern aircraft. Hope I get that tonight so I can really show you what this airline's about. Come along, I promise it's going to be a good one. Well, it was a return to DXB on that particular evening. A number of flights recently out of Sharjah. One of them, namely, was with Qatar Airways in their first class, so do make sure to check that one out on the channel. But familiar scenes for me back at DXB on that particular night. If you do ever find yourself in Dubai's Terminal 1 with time to spare before check-in, do check out this area. It's just above the main check-in area, has some amazing views out, lots of food outlets, and it is quite a nice, quiet, chilled out place to wait until it's time for you to check in. Talking of check-in, on that particular evening, it was a pretty chaotic scene with some earlier flights and them trying to rush people through, not brilliantly well managed, but it was nice to get through that onto the tram on my way to the main terminal area. Having arrived in departures, it was very much time to locate the Gulf Air Lounge. They do have their own private lounge in Dubai, as ever. This is just up the escalator towards the main lounge area. The lounge itself is a little bit dated, but actually, given the amount of people using it at any given time when I've been in there, it's perfectly spacious enough and certainly has the facilities that you'd expect. Sadly, probably biggest downside of the lounge is that there's no views out, but that's very much the case with all of the lounges that I've been to at DXB. The only exception to that for me is actually the Emirates Lounge at Terminal 3, but that's very much a more modern terminal with a far more glassy outlook, as you'd expect. Anyway, back to the Gulf Air Lounge just for now. There was a nice hot food buffet on that particular evening, but some really nice choices across the board, both on the drinks and also the food front as well. There was a really good alcohol selection and everything was purely just help yourself and really nicely stocked. I opted for a chicken curry on that particular evening, and it was a nice little snack before the flight. As ever, time passed very quickly indeed, and it was soon time to head down to the gate. One of the big advantages actually of Dubai's Terminal 1 is that none of the gates are ever that much of a walk away, so it was quick, travel down, and then I was soon boarding. So it looks as though against expectations it's going to be the Dreamliner tonight, so certainly an upgrade in terms of planes. A little bit sad that I won't get to show you the short haul on the small Airbus, the baby bus so to speak, but it should be a great flight. An amazing flight ahead indeed. When I'm settled into the seat, I'll give you a good tour through the main features of this particular suite. One thing that I really like about it, above and beyond the really smart overall look of the cabin, is that the seats are very slightly offset. So what that means, if you're seated like the window, as I was on that particular evening, you don't have to step over the legs of those in the aisle seat. For those of you that have travelled on board the old style British Airways Yin Yang business class seat, this will be a feature that you'll be particularly glad of. Whilst the window seats are absolutely fantastic, best seats for couples probably just in the middle with that central divider just there, able to be lowered right down. So I've had the pleasure of this amazing product before, very similar to the flight that I took to Manila a little bit earlier in the year. Of course this will be short haul tonight, so it won't quite be the same service offering, but certainly in terms of the seat it's very much the same. Seats in a 222 configuration, but they're offset, so you sit slightly ahead or slightly in front of your seatmate, and you can see the privacy screen just here, and then they would then just sit just there. So it's a pretty nice private area, I have to say. But look, let me give you a bit of a tour around and you can make up your own minds. Well, just whilst we kick off this seat tour, the pre-drinks were already served. I went for a juice type concoction. It was a really nice way to kick off the flight, but lots more coming on that particular front. In terms of the main seat features, everything's within easy reach. You've got the main controls on the armrest just down to the side. This one perhaps looking a little bit worn. All of the entertainment settings and also the other settings just off to your right hand side with the other main menu. So everything certainly within very easy reach indeed. We'll get into the entertainment itself a little bit later, but certainly in terms of storage and in-seat charging, this suite scores very nicely indeed. Lots of various different storage areas, so you don't have to put too much in your bag itself. I particularly like that privacy divider when that is up and in place. Certainly when you're by the window seat, an awful lot of privacy indeed. The earphones were already handed out, and as you'd expect, really high quality in this particular regard. Also, as part of the bits and pieces that you'll find in the seat as you get welcome to it, there was also a bottle of water. It's these little touches that really do make a very big difference indeed, even with this being a very short flight over to Bahrain. There were indeed overhead air vents, but no overhead lights, but really no particular need for that given all of the lighting in the suite, which we'll check out a little bit later on. As we taxi out to the runway, guys, I should say YouTube recently told me that less than 2% of you watching my videos are currently subscribed. The channel, whilst it's new, has an awful lot of new content, and I'd love you to come on board and be able to check that out. So hit that subscribe button, join everyone else, and it would be great to welcome you on board to the channel. For me, in many ways, a bit of an odd sort of takeoff. I was actually departing live in Dubai, so it's some really nice but quite nostalgic views back over the city as we departed. As ever with Dubai, a little bit hazy, but certainly some absolutely gorgeous views out over the downtown and then onto the Palm as we departed. So I'll let you sit back and enjoy those as we head off towards Bahrain. Look, the flight's certainly not a long one, so let's get into it in terms of the review. So first things first, let's check out the entertainment system. Certainly, in terms of the main unit, TV, yeah, absolutely massive, even for a seat of this particular size. Everything is just controlled with the touchpad down to the right, and a really good overall selection. This was a particular aircraft, as mentioned, that I've flown a number of times in the past, particularly on more of a long-haul route, so really good marks in that particular regard. The food was soon served. I went for a chicken salad. It was okay, certainly for a flight of this particular length, just a single tray service, and pretty good in that particular regard. In terms of the meal and dining service, this all comes out via a really nice table that extends from the side, and also due to the swivel feature on this is something that you can jump out of even during the meal service. Lighting was available through this little light just at the top of the seat and could be toggled across a range of different settings. Should also mention at this time Wi-Fi was available. Despite this being such a short service, there was a range of different packages offered, some of them being very competitive indeed. As we arrived into the incredibly modern Bahrain International Airport, I'll let you enjoy a couple of the views as we come in and leave you with my final thoughts on this particular service. Well, as short-haul travel goes, that's gotta be as good as it gets. I challenge anyone to find me a better product, and I'll happily go and fly it one day. Anyway guys, that's everything for today's video. As ever, thank you so much for watching. I will gladly see you all in the next one.